Hi folks, this is Alan Watt on the 19th of January 2007 at cuttingthroughthematrix.com. Maybe tonight we'll talk about the interconnections of societies, the societies which guide our lives, which seem to be separate in people's minds, and yet if you look at them all like sheepdogs and we're the sheep in the middle, you start to see the interconnections and how they're all coming towards us from the same direction at the same time, and things start to make sense as to how programs are introduced into the public domain and then given government backing, and they just happen to be right on time with the latest technologies that are going to save us all from whatever they claim. One of the organizations, actually the main one, which is behind most of what we think is culture and cultural change in society, is the one you'll the least hear of. You hear their front organizations, which are staffed by these characters. I'm talking about Freemasonry. You should go into the histories of Freemasonry, and you can find many of their own books which will not only boast or admit, but boast about their part in the creation of our modern society. And they'll boast about all the changes they made in previous societies to bring us to this stage, which is all supposed to be for the good of all. They give us the education system, but they didn't just give us the education system and promote it, they also steer the education system worldwide. They decide what downloading is going to go into your child's mind. They boast about all the revolutions in history and how they've been behind them. They talk about an ongoing revolution. You see, this is a religion here, a definite religion, which doesn't let you into their church unless you join them. We pass by these lodges thinking they're just little meeting clubs, but no, they're not. They're actually temples. Temple is a religious term, and you must join them to be allowed in. And under the guise of charitable works, they steer the course of society into a particular direction, and they all come together. As I say, everything comes together at the right time. All this networking and organization, massive organization, and their members are in politics, in the police force from top to bottom, in the military from top to bottom, all through your bureaucracies. This is the religion that runs the world, that we're taught drives funny little cars and wears funny little hats on parades for children and collects for charity. And what a great cover that is, because the active Masons are very active indeed and always have been. And you'll find them on this as the CEOs of major corporations and foundations. We can't forget that John Robson, who wrote the book, or one of the major books on the so-called Illuminati, which is just one Masonic branch, he talks about the coming foundations that they were organizing. Now, Robson himself was a member of the English Grand Lodge before he joined the lower ranks of the Illuminati himself. But these foundations, he said, under charitable guises would eventually dominate the world. And it's happened. The foundations dominate the world. The great Ford, Carnegie, Rockefeller, and many, many more, they have them in every country on the planet, guide the cultures of the people, guide the updating and altering of the cultures, they guide the societal changes within those cultures. We live in a Masonic world. And it's very, very deadly serious. And you have no idea of how many fingers are in the pies. If there's a finger in the pie, it's always theirs. This is a link I got from someone who wrote in from Missouri, and it's the Missouri Freemasons. It's on their site. They are behind not just the nationwide but the worldwide promotion, and this is the first step towards what we were talking about before with the brain chip. But they're behind the microchipping of children with ID cards and things you can pin in their clothing, little active ID cards and chips. And it's called, believe it or not, it's called the Mo chip, M-O chip. On their site to see if Missouri Freemasons making a difference in our state and around the world. Well, they certainly are, aren't they? For your kids. Kids are, young goats. They promote that term as well. And it's so funny because it says, share a secret word. You and your parents, this is for the children. You and your parents should agree on a code word that is easy for you to remember. This way, if anyone tells you that you need to come with them because your parents were hurt or are in the hospital, you can ask them for the code word. Well, the Masons have been using code words for centuries and centuries. You hear the are at it again with your children. If they really are a friend, they will know the code word that you and your parents share. Now, I wonder how they do that if your parents were in the hospital and be unconscious. But here's the blurb about the chip. Microchip is a comprehensive child identification program designed to give families of the state of Missouri, and it's all over actually, a measure of protection against the ever-increasing problem of missing and abducted children. Missouri Freemasons are bringing this program to communities throughout the state. The Masonic Children's Foundation is working with local Masonic lodges to develop consistent and successful Microchip events as part of our ongoing commitment to Missouri's children and families. This program is provided free of charge to every Missouri family who participates. It's free. How does it work? The program consists of 5 major components: digital photographs, digital fingerprints, child identification and emergency contacts, dental bite impression, 2 laminated ID cards. We ask that all participants fill out a permission form to participate in the Microchip event. Parents or guardians then fill out the information collection sheet with information about their child. All information is voluntary. The digital photographs, fingerprints and child information and emergency contacts are given to the parent or guardian of the child on a mini CD computer disc. They've even spelled this wrong. Must be the low orders down at the Blue Lodge there. The information on the disc is compatible with the format required by the Amber Alert program. Now you see, they also are behind the Amber Alert program. Now you have these huge screens across major highways that can punch up someone's name, the vehicle they're driving, and tell every motorist to be on the watch for them. And you know where that's going to be used in the future. And this was the Masons who pushed this thing. This is why you have it. Back to this one. The dental bite impression provides an impression of the biting surface of the child's teeth, which, like the fingerprints, are unique to each individual. The dental impression collects enough saliva to provide a DNA sample and a source for a scent for trained canine search and recovery teams. Together, these 5 measures provide a powerful and recovery tool. The Masonic Children's Foundation retains no information concerning the children. Would they lie to you? Only the signed permission form is retained by the foundation. Now, it's a foundation, and this is in every state in the US, and it's in Canada, and it's across the planet. That's who's pushing it, in combination with the corporations who make all this stuff and all the technology that goes with it. And once you've accepted all of this, of course, you know where that's going. It's going to, step by step, to the body chip, to the brain chip. That's the whole idea. Get the sheep used to it, so they're not getting spooked all the time, and go to the next level. There's the Masons behind all of this. And of course you don't want to believe that, do you? Because your grandpa's in it, or whoever's in it, one of your relatives. And you know they're nice people. But they're an organized bunch of nice people. And they certainly do have an agenda to fulfill. This Microchip is also called Microchip. Microchip. And it's one of the most comprehensive child recovery and identification programs in the nation. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. So it's state and national and international. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Because they care about you. What they also say is Microchips events are scheduled year-round at various events throughout the state. Currently there are 101 events coming up. That's in the one state, Missouri. For additional details as to event dates, location, blah blah, go to our calendar page. And they have grants from the government for this, by the way. They're a tax-exempt foundation under a charity, just like the foundations, all the other foundations. And the big corporations that make all of the stuff they want your child to carry around and eventually be implanted with are also Freemasons. That's your connecting link with everything, always is. In every people, every race, creed, etc., you'll find it's Freemasonry. On all sides of everything.